Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have to show you my home goods find. I've been looking for a ethnic Santa Claus and I finally found one. It's a great price at $19.99. They had a couple of different versions, but I chose the version that was pretty neutral tone so that I can just kind of replace certain components of them each year. Everything is white or silver. Boots are supposed to be white. They're a little opaque looking. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to bling them out just a little bit more, and I'm going to be painting his boots silver and giving this the buckles on them a little bit of bling, and we'll be adding some more little embellishments on him just so he kind of pops, because that's going to be kind of my Christmas theme for this year. But again, with some of the things that are there, like the ribbons and the packages and the presents and the little berries and different things of that nature and the ropes, you probably can just take items like this, and every year just take those specific items and change them out to be kind of color coordinated with whatever your Christmas color theme is for that year. But I'm gonna just embellish the basic components for today. It's gonna be some simple silver paint. I'm gonna let his boots dry after we paint them. And then at that point in time, we are going to add on some little rhinestones that we got, just $1 roll out of the infamous Dollar Tree. But that'll be the second step. And so what we wanna do is to make sure that his jacket doesn't get any paint on it or anything like that. We're just gonna kind of move it out of the way. And I got some rubber bands just to kind of keep it away from the paint. So I'm just gonna rubber band it away a little bit, the best I can, because I don't want to take them completely apart right now. I think it's pretty good. Shouldn't move too much. And like I said, we're just gonna do some simple silver acrylic paint to give his boots a little bit of poppage. Nothing fancy smancy. A little bit of dooya, and then as I stated, once we add those little rhinestone embellishments, that should really make it stand out. And we might need 2 coats on here, but we're gonna put the first coat on first. And just be kind of, I did have some painter's tape and I forgot to put it on, so we want to make sure his pants don't get any paint on them. So I'm just gonna, let's take this off just for safety's sake, that his pants don't get any paint. It's kind of, because they're kind of that bubbled MC Hammer pant look. I'm just gonna take this out of the way. And then like I said, we're just gonna continue with painting his boots. They may require 2 coats. So I didn't want a really standout silver. Just kind of want to take away from this opaque, plasticky look that they have going on. And then, as I said, you know, as the years go, it'll be simple to, you know, either at some point in time, maybe paint his boots black. But this is a simple change because of the plastic material that they're made out of. And I can already tell just from the consistency of this particular brand of acrylic paint, we'll probably need 2 coats. A quick and simple way would be to also spray paint him. You can get quick, easy coverage. And that will be something where you could probably put a supermarket plastic grocery bag over his whole body, leaving his feet out and just taping it closed so you don't get paint on the other parts of his body. And that'll be a quick painting method as well. But I'm just gonna go with this because honestly, I can't tolerate too much of the spray paint fumes, even the ones with low VOC. But this is pretty quick too. And then I don't have to go through all the prep and all that stuff. And then we're just gonna stand them up to dry and give them probably about an hour or so to dry. And then we'll come back and give another coat of silver. And we're definitely gonna need another coat. And like I said, it's just to kind of get some dimension on his boots, just because these particular boots kind of a creamy, opaque white look, and to get them silver will kind of match what's going on a little bit with the rest of his outfit. So you can't really tell probably through the camera, but I can tell that yes, this gray is gonna make a big difference. And already he's looking jazzy. And so like I said, we're gonna give him a couple of minutes, maybe at least an hour or two to dry. In the meantime, we'll go about our day doing other things. Give him a moment for this coat to dry, and then the next coat will adhere even better. And then we'll just be more conscientious of our brush strokes on the next one. He's looking snazzy already. See you back in a bit. Okay guys, so just to recap what we did, we actually painted his boots, and I just went ahead and put the second coat on, and I've started to actually apply our little rhinestones to the soles of his boots as well as to his buckle like we stated. And so I have one more buckle to do, and it does kind of make it pop a little bit. It doesn't look as off-white and kind of out of place as it did before. So I've pre-cut the other measurements for our buckle embellishments, and we're gonna hot glue those on. Anytime you're working with hot glue, just make sure you are very careful, because it's not called hot glue for no reason. Go. On this piece, I have trim a little bit more. And we're gonna put this on the side right there. It really does just make it pop. Sometimes when you're hot gluing tiny items or tiny objects, I like to use tweezers, especially so you don't have to get so close to the actual hot glue and sticking your fingers on there. So for this little two-spear section, I just kind of go in like that with some tweezers. So that glue is hot. It kind of helps to get a grip on it without using my actual finger. And then again, like I always say, if you're utilizing hot glue, make sure after it's cooled, go back and clean up. I do not like that little spider web string effect that it has. And I probably feel that way because I am terrified of spiders. But look at that, guys. Isn't he snazzy? And then, like I said, you can just take, because this is a very monochromatic Santa outfit. He looks good. He's perfect for how I'm going to style my Christmas this year. However, in certain rooms, if I ended up changing my mind and want to place him in another room that has a different Christmas style going on, you can take simple things such as 99-cent ornaments or garnishments, however you want. Like for this one, the Santa did come with his staff, and we're gonna bling that out as well. But instead of going with plain white ribbon or silver ribbon, we can add red ribbon. So that's what we're gonna do to this. We're gonna wrap this to give this a little bit more pop and add a little bit of color to it, just so he kind of blends in a little bit more. So we're just gonna hot glue this on. Fairly simple. All you gotta do, like I said, it doesn't take a lot of effort when you're using hot glue. Make sure your hot glue gun is hot and ready. And that is on high temp. So it may not be as hot as you like it, but there's just the fingers right now because I cut one of my fingers. And I have a cordless glue gun. It's not my favorite. I have a really big one that I like to use. So it's hot for longer. And I'm just gonna wrap that around the base just like that. So that gives a little bit more. Now he is Santa, so it's use your discretion of how blinged out you want him to be, or if not at all. But because this was a Santa that was a fairly good price, I just wanted to customize him a little bit. Just don't want him to look like every other Santa that is gonna be bought out of Home Goods, because there were a lot of them in there. So I want my Santa to stand out a little bit more. So we're gonna cut another piece to fit this on, and then add the embellishments. So we're gonna finish wrapping that in a second. But before we wrap it all the way, I'm gonna see which one of these little nodules I want to use. And this came from Walmart. It's fairly cheap for 99 cents. You can use them to embellish napkin rings or anything else you want to do to get those customized to what you're going to be using for Christmas or any other occasion. So I'm just going to take this and just kind of hot glue it into here. Just going to add a little bit of pop. And we'll do that next. And here we go, guys. Here's our simple embellishment of our discounted Santa from Home Goods. Let me know if you can recognize the celebrations that we made along the way. So yes, he was just a basic monochromatic, kind of a white and not necessarily cream color, but his plastic boots, they were a little bit to be desired for those, so just kind of made it fit what I wanted. As we discussed, I added some bling on there after I painted them silver so they didn't have that kind of beige dull plasticky look, and I added some 99-cent embellishments that I received, that just the little picks that you get from Hobby Lobby and Walmart. I embellished his staff a little bit and added some holly berries to that. And that's pretty much it. And like I said, whatever your custom colors are for each Christmas, these are things that you can easily just pull out and just change out and kind of add some splash of colors and accents to it, or just leave it as is. Whatever fits your style for that year. I know you ever try to change up what I have going on for my Christmas, especially when you're doing multiple rooms in your home. So this one is, I just thought he needed a little bit of pop. Let me know what you think, and if you have any ideas or any additional changes, there are a couple more Santas to come along the way before Christmas arrives, and I'll share those with you as well. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe.